Lost and Found in Cleveland is an American portrait that will leave you feeling both familiar and magical as you watch the film. We welcome the writers, producers, and directors, Marissa Gooderman and Keith Gerchek, to the show. Hi, guys.
Thank you.
Hi, Bree.
Hi, Bree. Nice to meet you.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
for
having us.
joining me. I'm super excited to talk to you guys. I watched the trailer. Oh my God.
Oh
This
my
is,
gosh.
they say that there's no good films out there anymore because all the storylines have been taken. This is fabulous.
Ah, thank you.
I can't wait to watch it. I've got goosebumps. I'm so excited.
Well, we got goosebumps when you were describing the film. There is something magical about it and timeless and nostalgic. And I think you're right. There aren't movies like this that are getting made anymore.
There's just not. I think, from what I saw from the trailer, it just was very, very intriguing because there's so many elements to it that you just don't see, including, the characters, the music, the scenes. I mean, everything about it. I was just so drawn in that minute and a half or however long that trailer was. So,
Well, thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, I think the trailer's a very good indication of what the film is like. We always say that the highest compliment that we could get from audiences is if they laugh and cry at the same time.
oh my gosh.
And that I think it kind of takes people by surprise when they watch this movie, that they think they know what they're getting when they go into it. And it has a lot more depth than that. Once you've been introduced to these five characters and you're immersed into their worlds, and it's a real cross section of what modern America looks like. And then you are delving into this kind of, the dreams and the hopes of these individuals, and the objects. It's basically America's favorite televised antiques appraisal show, like behind Marissa there, that is coming to Cleveland, and Cleveland is a microcosm of America. We actually have a quote that we took from Tennessee Williams that he didn't mean it as a compliment, but America only has three cities: New York, San Francisco, and New Orleans. Every place else is Cleveland.
Ah,
And that's how the film starts. And we really do see it as a microcosm that Cleveland is representative of everybody in the country, and that the American dream exists for everybody. And we take a look at what that looks like.
well, and I love this because we don't hear much about Cleveland. It's kind
Right.
of, it's kind of its own little entity out there. And, personally, I've never been, but I tell you what, this film's going to intrigue me and I'm going to want to go visit the city.
Absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of people in Southern California, I'm originally a Southern California native myself, didn't really have a concept of Cleveland. Like when Keith first said, let's set it in Cleveland, I laughed because all I knew were the things that we've been fed in the media for the last 60 years about, the burning river. And it's just kind of been the butt of jokes. And when I
Yes.
went there, for the first time, I was overwhelmed by the kind of beauty and nostalgia and Americana and these temples to architecture and American industrialization that are so woven into the fabric of Cleveland. And we don't really see that from the outside. So I think audiences are going to fall in love with it. There's something that's just very Americana, and it takes you almost back in time, and it feels good. It feels good. And the people that we get to spend time with in the film, we have such an incredible cast. Like June Squibb and Stacy Keach play this married couple that have worked at the steel mills, and their story is kind of intriguing, and it is such a Cleveland story, but like Keith was saying, it's American and it's universal.
That's fantastic. So tell us how the film will feel both familiar and magical to audiences. I know we've touched on just the location itself, but
Sure.
what else, how are people going to relate, especially those of us who have never been to Cleveland?
Well, at the end of the day, this is a film about Antiques Roadshow. Sorry, I said that out loud. And I think we all have something in our attic that is, we always wondered. My grandmother gave me these Indonesian figurines from her seventh honeymoon. Yes, this is a real story about my grandma.
Seventh, grandma.
And
Wow, she's
she had a
busy.
good time. And so we always thought that they were worth a lot of money, and we took them to the roadshow, but it really was never about what their worth was. It was a story about connecting to my grandmother, who I miss deeply. And we all have an object like that that's personal to us, and this film is, Keith, we always say it's like a holiday film, really, but the kind of holiday film that
It's a
we
perennial
don't see
favorite.
anymore. Yeah.
Right. And and it has more depth. This is not Hallmark. This is not like everything's wrapped up in a bow. That there's just again more depth to it.
Okay.
And I have a tie to my grandmother as well with this film because I had a coin collection that my grandmother collected from the 60s in a candy store. She used to take out anything that she thought was interesting, put it in a box. And it was meant to pay for my college. And I got
Oh,
a free ride
wonderful.
to college, but I still had the coin collection. And when I decided to kind of give up my career and pursue filmmaking wholeheartedly, I had to sell that collection to pay for my move originally to New York and then to LA. And I was bawling because it was my last tether to my grandmother. And my
Right.
mom said, your grandmother wanted you to pursue your American dream.
Oh
And
my
so
goodness.
this coin collection is the embodiment of that. That's the meaning of the collection. That's the meaning of your connection to your grandmother. And this film, for me personally, is the kind of result of that
Yes.
tether and that tie to my grandmother.
So the underlying theme of the film is hope, right?
Absolutely.
Does that tie back into your experiences?
Oh, yeah. I mean, our experience is making the film as filmmakers, what is inherent to the story. I think what's inherent in the American spirit is always hope. And I think that's really what it means to be a Clevelander. And we can't think of a time right now when we need it more. And it's
Right.
really exciting to be sharing that kind of story.
Yeah. Well, I read through your notes and it said the film highlights the drive and anxiety of each character.
Oh, yeah.
So it sounds like there's a lot of twists and turns and in very intriguing content. So, do you know when the film will be shown?
Well, the first chance for audiences to see it will be at the Newport Beach Film Festival on October 19th, Saturday at 7:30 p.m. And we're really excited to share it with audiences there first.
And will you two be there?
You better believe it.
We'll be
Oh,
there. And there'll be a Q&A afterwards as
there
well.
will be.
So,
Oh my goodness. Okay, well,
yes.
luckily for me, I get to rewatch the Zoom.
Oh, perfect. And June Squibb will be there. It'll be a really nice evening.
Oh, it sounds wonderful. I'm so bummed I'm going to be out of town that night.
Uh,
But I will watch the film and then I'll circle back to you too and tell you how wonderful it was. But in the meantime, we're going to tell our audience that they need to head over to the Newport Beach Film Festival to meet Marissa and Keith.
we
So
can't wait
wonderful
to
to
have
meet you
everybody
two.
there.
Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. What a
Thank you,
pleasure.
Bree.
It was so fun. Thanks.
You're watching This Day on Village TV.